One of the most legendary figures in the world of One Piece is the hero of the Marines and grandfather of Luffy, Monkey D. Garp. His legacy is well known and respected all over the seas, and it seems every time we see more of him, he becomes more powerful in our eyes. With the recent discoveries, his stock has risen higher than it has ever been before, and it will only rise as the series continues. What's up guys, my name is Vertics, and if you enjoy videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I put out quality content like this weekly, you won't want to miss. Garp is unlike most fighters this world has. While most people fight with their swords, guns, or devil fruits, Garp is straight hands. While he might not have a weapon or special power to use, he has some of the best Haki in the entire series. He possesses all three advanced forms of Haki that blast his opponents away, no matter how strong they are. Even without his Haki, both him and Kuzan used battleships as punching bags and destroyed multiple of them for years as warm-up. Like I said, straight hands. Before the time skip, we didn't see too much from Garp, as before Marineford, he would show up at the end of a few arcs, but only to talk to Luffy and throw some cannonballs at him. The only thing we knew though is that Garp was Luffy's grandpa and the father of Dragon, and he was a huge figure for the Marines. In the war, not only was this an old and out of touch Garp, but he was also mentally nerfed the entire arc. However though, he could still one-shot Marco and claim that he was going to kill Akainu for killing Ace, although he is still yet to go to his office and do anything about it. Regardless though, Whitebeard is still respecting his strength, and without suffering the mental fatigue, he attempted to fight off Kuzan on Hachinosu. During this battle, Garp performed very well, and despite him being out of his prime, he could still damage Kuzan and clash with him. Now, this clash will come back into play later, but while Kuzan was stronger than Garp and beat him, this was all while he had to worry about sword and got stabbed by Shiryu. Another thing about this fight is that it isn't the best of what either fighters were capable of. Not only was Kuzan holding back to let Sword escape and keep his cover, but Garp wasn't using moves like Galaxy Impact and other moves Oda has yet to show us. When he uses Galaxy Impact, it is a very destructive move and can be used to fight against opponents from range while still being just as powerful as being up close. I'm not saying that he would have beat Kuzan if he used more of his serious moves, as Kuzan wasn't either, but the battle would have lasted longer and Kuzan would have taken more damage. It's not just his strength he has, but he is both insanely fast and durable. While he didn't win the fight, he still was able to survive, having a giant icicle sticking out of his chest, and I imagine he's not getting the best treatment from being locked up by the Blackbeard pirates. The guy isn't in a good condition, but he's damn sure hanging on. It's also important to mention that while Garp was only taken out by 2 of Kuzan's attacks, we should note how lethal the last attack was, and the fact he went in front of Kobe to stop Shiryu from stabbing him. It's not like he was just punched twice by him like a lot of people love to act like for some reason with those graphs. The final attack was very brutal, and he had the numbers game going against him. He can also keep up with Kuzan and arguably blitzed Marco in Marineford. This makes him one of the fastest in the verse, and it's very underlooked, as Marco could outspeed both King and Queen and even keep up with Kizaru for a bit. Mind you, this is all upscale for his prime self. The guy is up there with the greatest legends of all time. When Shiki broke out of prison, he was confronted by both of Garp and Sengoku, where he was folded badly, and the last we ever saw of him. While yes, both Garp and Sengoku fought him, either one of these guys would have been enough to get the job done. The job was originally handed to Sengoku, who was fully confident he could do it, but Garp butted in and came along, all cause he was bored. He's telling Garp he doesn't need his help, and Garp doesn't deny that. Yes, half of old Marineford was destroyed, but any one of these men by themselves could have done the same thing. After all, their powers are very destructive, and even if it was just Garp here, Shiki still would have lost. Speaking of destructive, despite the fact Chinjiao's drill is able to split apart continents, it's just no match for the raw power of Garp's punches. This was also while using a no-named and no-conquers Haki attack, but when his attacks were his strongest was when he fought against both Roger and Whitebeard and playing a big part in taking down rocks. When Roger fights and beats a bunch of fodder Marines, he specifically asked for one of Garp or Sengoku to make things fun. Roger is a man who loves his battles, and the tougher they are, the more fun it is for him. Roger has the same level of respect for Garp as he does for Whitebeard. While he didn't tell, or at least attempt to tell him about the One Piece and Laugh Tale, he still told Garp about Ace despite him being a Navy officer, all because he had that much respect for his strength. While Whitebeard didn't feel the same as Roger did about Garp, he still knew he was a respectable Marine that was true about his word of justice, and that was all while running into and fighting him multiple times throughout the years. In the recent chapters, we actually got to see a clash that took place between Garp and Roger, where I'm not gonna lie, Garp won. The positioning of Roger's sword is weird here, because it makes sense and it's most likely that he swung it across Garp's stomach, yet Garp looks pretty fine, unlike Roger, who is eating a full fist, courtesy of Garp. This is both Garp upscale and Roger downscale, as if you can overpower a swordsman with just your fist, that's going to leave a huge dent on the Roger agenda. I do believe that Garp is stronger than Roger for both this, and the fact Garp isn't being followed by nearly as powerful subordinates as Roger has following him. Even if Bogard was insanely cracked enough to fight off Rayleigh, there's still Gabon and the rest of the Roger pirates to deal with. Plus, Roger being constantly on the run while Garp is the one chasing him makes me feel that Garp was always confident that he could take him in. Roger had more reasons to overpower and maybe even beat Garp, yet that never happened. In fact, he was the one who got overpowered. Even when Garp clashed with Kuzan, they were able to create a giant explosion, and Garp wasn't on the winning side there. We haven't seen the aftermath of Garp and Roger's clash yet, so maybe Garp did get more injured by this attack than we thought, but still, he was on the winning side while having more going against him. As for now, I do have Garp over Roger, but I wouldn't say the same for Whitebeard. The only reason I think this is because in his prime, Whitebeard was given the title of the world's strongest man, and at the time, his crew wasn't near its peak strength. I also wanted to mention Sengoku, as the man is probably the most underrated old gen character, and while him and Garp are certainly close in strength, Garp is always implied to be one step ahead of him. During God Valley, he would team up with Roger and his crew to take down the Rocks pirates. We don't know if Garp fought anyone else besides Rocks, as Kaido didn't mention him in his top 5, so they definitely didn't fight whatsoever. He might have fought someone else, but it wouldn't have been Kaido. Anyway, I wanted to make note that I don't think it was just Garp and Roger that took down Rocks, because both members of the Holy Knights and the Gorosei were present. And Imu, more likely than not, took action since God Valley was erased seemingly in the same manner as Lulusia. While Rocks did have an insanely powerful crew with him, they definitely didn't match up to the insane amount of numbers and power that the army against them held. There's also a big chance that Whitebeard betrayed him here, which if true, only upscales Rocks even more. However, because of his job and the amount of pride he has, I assume that Garp's main objective was to fight and stop Rocks. Not only is Rocks a swordsman, but I assume he, like Blackbeard, possessed multiple devil fruits to assist him that Garp had to go up against. Again, this is Garp fighting insanely low odds with just his bare hands and didn't even flinch. As for where I rank him amongst the all-time strongest, it would be above Roger, but below Whitebeard. Please keep in mind that this can change over time when more information is revealed. I also have him above Dragon, simply because we don't know anything he can do, definitely edging near my top 5, and when the series is all wrapped up, he won't drop too far, being around the top 10 range. Well, that's it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave a like. It really helps with the algorithm, and it's very appreciated. As always, shout out to my boy Tiberius for the thumbnail. He makes quality thumbnails for me all the time, and if you would like some of your own, hit him up on Twitter, link in the description, as well as my Twitter at Vertics_ for more of my takes. And without further ado, you guys can get out of here.